Right, hello everyone. Welcome back to the URC. We are just coming up to the end of our season break, and we're here for the teams and the team lineup and the calendar lineup for season 3 next season. We are joined by URC head of recruitment and advisory partner, LG Gaffo. How are you doing, Gaffo?
How's it going, Shamrock? Doing very well.
Very good, very good. So yeah, as I said, we're here for... We thought we'd switch it up. Well, I thought I'd switch it up ahead of the new season in 6 rounds' time. Instead of doing it going into the start of the new season, we're just doing it during the season break to get more excitement back into the league. So obviously we'll start with Mercedes. They are the leading constructors team at the moment, and their lineup for this season, season 3, is Rayan and Shano in the Mercedes team. So Gaffa, what do you think of that lineup?
Yeah, obviously it's going to be a very strong lineup. One of the 5 of the strongest lineups I see on the teams. Obviously Rayan has proven to himself he's very fast.
Yeah.
And although he hasn't got a race win yet, I think one is coming soon.
Exactly.
Shano the same. He's good pace. He's good consistency. He's mostly in the points, and he's still to prove that there will be a podium coming soon for him. Obviously, both of them are new drivers to URC just here in season 2, so I think they may settle in just a bit more going into season 3, and they'll perform hopefully a good duo.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Rayan definitely has a win under his belt in the next 6 rounds of the season, so it will be interesting to see what he does with Shano. And obviously Shano, we haven't seen him in a week or so, but he'll hopefully be back for Austria. But he has scored really good points this season, so I think Mercedes could be a cracking team next season. Right, let's look at Red Bull then. They are currently, I believe, 7th in this season's constructors standing, so their drivers haven't been very good. But for Red Bull this season, now this is a pairing that I love and I really wanted to see for season 3. It's FaZe McBoss, season 1 champion, and it's Wolves in the Red Bull lineup for season 3. Now Gaffo, again, what do you think of this team? I think FaZe is going to be very good, but it's Wolves has had quite a different season.
Yeah, exactly. Again, like Mercedes, it's a very strong lineup, and another one that will be hopefully in the top 5 and most likely battling for a Constructors' Championship. Obviously Red Bull not doing too great at the moment, just lost both of their drivers, but I think next season they'll definitely be a strong pairing. FaZe McBot has been renowned for his pace and his wins, obviously season 1 champion and a heavy season 2 contender for the title.
Yeah.
It's Wolves. He's got I think 2 podiums or one podium to his name. No, 1 podium in Bahrain to his name. He's shown pace everywhere he got, and obviously again he's only had a spell in season 1, and then he's only adapting to the new game season 2. I think season 3 could be one of his breakthrough seasons, and we hope to see something good from him.
Yeah, because Wolves has had quite a tough start to this season. He obviously started out with Ferrari in the Scuderia colours. He then went to Alfa Romeo, and then he only had 1 race with them, DNF'd in Zandvoort, and then by next week he was with Williams. So he's been through a lot of different seats, and he's had a very first difficult 6 rounds. But hopefully things will change for him in the second half of this season, and obviously for Red Bull next season as well.
Yeah, of course. We've shown before. I think he got pole in Britain. He's a very quick driver, and he knows that himself. But obviously, coming from loads of different teams and having a bit of an argument and a bit of an issue with other drivers, I think he's settled in Williams now. He had a fairly strong enough race in USA where he showed some quality pace and kind of just got unlucky throughout the race. But I feel now going into the season break, he'll have a strong finish to the season, and then reunite with McBot, who not reunite, just unite with McBot, and
Yeah.
hopefully give a give a good go at the constructors in season three.
And do you think it's Wolves will feel under pressure maybe by McBot? Obviously, McBot, he's fighting a title this season, and he's going to be expecting to do the same next season. Do you think McBot will be tough on him to improve his racecraft, his overall racing?
Well, of course, McBot will be tough on him, but the best thing of having a fast teammate is you can learn from him.
Hmm.
I feel like he will
Absolutely.
adapt himself generally to be a number two driver, and I think he might know that being
Yeah.
teammates with McBot. And doing that really does help you get better anyway. And then hopefully in season four we'll see how good he is then for possibly having a go with the other front running drivers. Like he's, obviously, I said it many times, he's shown he has the pace. So if he can get himself together and he can form a good alliance with McBot, there's no reason why he can't be finishing on the podium alongside him.
Absolutely. Well, we'll move on from Red Bull then. We move to Scuderia Ferrari, who have had probably quite the worst season um, since last season. Like last season, they were P3 from round seven onwards, and then they kept P3 till the end, and now they're P9 in the constructors' standings. Obviously, Ferrari they need a turnaround for the better in the second half of the season and the new season coming. But their driver pairing for season three is Ronan Asaurus and Gabri XF1. Very, very interesting opinions on these two, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Ronan Soares has got some good finishes throughout the season. I think he obviously got the podium in Great Britain. I think he was on for a podium in Miami, never got that. Um, I haven't seen anything of Gabri so far, and we'll see what his pace is like.
Yeah,
As he does he have a seat for the second
he's
half of the
currently
season, or is he a
racing
reserve?
in AlphaTauri
Yeah,
this for
so
the second
he'll
half.
be in the AlphaTauri in the second half of the season, and we'll see what he is. But at the moment, I don't really have an opinion on Ferrari because, quite frankly, I don't know um, how the pace of one of the drivers, and then Ronan Source is here some weeks, and then kind of has another week where he's just generally poor. But we'll soon find out how that is next season. I wouldn't tip them at all for maybe even top five, but they could be a strong midfield team that get a podium
Yeah,
every few
exactly.
races. But we'll wait and see.
Because obviously, they have had a very obviously their former pairing Ryan Curran and Wolves had a good okay-ish start to the season. Ryan Curran qualified pole, Wolves um started a bit 13th, and then it looked to be good for them going into Miami, and then after Miami everything just fell apart for the Ferrari team, and now they're kind of trying to build back into the midfield. I personally don't think that they'll get ahead of Alpine and McLaren this season, just based on Alpine and McLaren's consistency overall from the first six rounds. But we'll have to see how they improve. Anyways, we move on to the McLaren team. Now the McLaren team this season, McLaren have been, I have to say, one of the most consistent teams across the two seasons so far. They finished fourth last season. They're still fourth this season, so they've managed to keep up that consistency that every team, in my opinion, should have. So their lineup for season three is Banter King and Pa Kenny. Obviously, Banter King being the quicker driver of the two, but will Pa Kenny also show some good results in the McLaren team?
That's going to be a tough one to call. Obviously, Banter King is almost. Um, sorry about this.
No worries, I'll talk through it. Obviously, Banter King and Pa Kenny. Banter King had in the start of the last season, guys. Obviously, he had a very early start into the season. He definitely struggled in the first six races. I could see that, and then in the last three rounds, he definitely bounced back and started to pull off good results. Pa Kenny also, when he joined in Monza, had some really good results. He had a good debut, and then he pulled off another good result as well, and then the last in Mexico. So I think McLaren have a really good strong pairing again, going into the third season, for the McLaren team.
All right, sorry about that. I'm back.
No worries.
Yeah, obviously, I think Banter King at the moment, I think, is carrying Mercedes on his back, and he possibly may have to do the
Yeah,
same for McLaren, based on Pat Kenny's results so far this season. But Pat Kenny has shown previously in the last game that his pace is quick, and if he does eventually get used to it, I can see them also forming a good pairing and hopefully going to be a top five team next season.
it could be like a Norris Ricardo situation. You know, Norris is definitely quicker than Ricardo at the moment, and in my opinion, from what I've seen in the F1 current season. But you know, I definitely think we will see Banter King carrying McLaren next season. But hopefully, Wicked Red can step up his results in the Mercedes, going forward into the second half, because Banter King needs him more than ever now.
Yeah, especially that's 100% true there because if Banter King has to do that again, I'm sure he will be getting angry because he does want a good teammate that he can easily coast with a constructors with. Obviously, Pat Kenny I think will step up. Um, he done it last game, and he can do it again. And well, we'll soon find out. Obviously, he's lacking a bit of confidence at the moment, but I
Absolutely.
feel like he will come back next season, especially with a brand new fresh start and a quicker teammate.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Definitely. Um, let's move on to Alpine then. So BWC Alpine F1 team. Now their driver lineup is the same lineup as this season. I chose these two drivers to be together because I want to see how they do well, and that's Tomas and OP Gamer. So the two new Red Bull drivers will keep the same pairing, for next season, because I just want to see how they will work together as a pairing. They haven't had a full season together. They're only going to have um, 6 or so rounds with each other. I think they need to have a full season to work together, and Alpine looks to be a good fit for them. What do you think?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything of Tomas yet. Almost the same as Gabri. We'll have to wait and see his pace. But OP Gamer, obviously, I've raced with him in LOI. He
Yeah,
is a quick driver, and he can show pace a lot, even despite some of his inconsistency at times. But I feel like
absolutely.
Alpine can be a strong suit again. I feel like they should be battling for that top five. I think there's four teams here that are almost guaranteed to be in the top five, and I feel like there's a lot of teams there that can battle it out for that last fifth spot, which would be so like appreciative to get because it's going to be almost a six-way battle for it. But we'll soon find out whether that pairing works or not.
Absolutely, and obviously Alpine are doing a thunderous job this season. Fifth place, just behind McLaren, off by 3 points. You know, I think we have a real Alpine McLaren rivalry here, so hopefully we can keep that into next season as well. With their new driver pairings as well.
Yeah,
Now,
100%.
let's have a look at AlphaTauri then, the team that really did pull off. Obviously, I think you really did carry the team last season to that P5 constructors finish. I mean, fair play to you 100%. This season,
Yep.
AlphaTauri have been different, really, really different. Inconsistency from drivers, just overall poor results.
I think too many drivers. There's been AlphaTauri's kind of just been the team where new drivers have been thrown into, and then eventually they've found out that they've not liked the league and they've just left. So it's
Yeah,
quite unfortunate for them considering how good they were in season one. Obviously, me and Stuffy had a good pairing. We're friends in real life.
yeah.
And eventually we had a good race, and I think I was expecting the same for this season, but obviously that didn't come about. But XD Harrison can be consistent when he's in the mood of it, and then obviously they don't have who's the
They
driver? Is
have
it
they have Gabri as
Gabri
well.
now? So
Yeah,
we'll soon see what he's going to be like then in the second half of the season. Again, I think the only team they're really battling with at the moment is
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Yeah,
So well, we'll see because I think Ferrari are due a few points as well. So both of them will be having a right go with each other at the moment.
well, I think luck is going to change for the AlphaTauri team in season 3, because their driver pairing is F1 Marley and Griffin 067. for their lineup. I think this is like a pure friendly lineup. Marley's always been going on about having a good teammate, and Griffin is definitely one of those teammates after what he's pulled off in the first 3 rounds of this season. You know, Griffin, I think to pick out a specific career of any driver in the URC, it's been him from Spain of round one last season to now. He's just improved so much in overall pace. I think AlphaTauri now have a serious team going into the next season. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, this team is going to definitely be the big parent together, the team that have kind of the best teammates together, the kind of the equivalent of what you could say Max and Checo at the moment, where
Yeah,
these two are gonna get on well. Obviously, Marley has shown this season he has incredible pace. He can get a podium if he's up for it. Griffin the exact same. These two are going to be a strong pairing, and again possibly fighting for that top four place, along with Mercedes and Red Bull and even McLaren as well. So
well, that's
we'll
the
soon
thing,
find out. But
you
I
know.
think those two are a good pairing. They both talk a lot. They both heavily praise each other a lot. So well, we'll soon find out how
I
good they
mean,
are
we've
as
seen
teammates.
friends become rivals. You know, Hamilton, Rosberg. We've seen that evolve. Could that happen with Marley and Griffin sometime in the season? Could they want to race each other really hard and cost the team big points? You know, it's been done. Can we see that
I
happen
think
between these two?
I think that's the problem. Looking at the standings here, there's been many times this season where these two have finished right beside each other. In Miami, Marley finished fifth and Griffin finished sixth, and then there's been many other times where this has happened. So I think if they do end up getting close, and all it takes is one collision, and all of a sudden there's a rivalry formed. But we'll soon find out.
Yeah,
At the
absolutely.
moment they're good mates, and I expect them to stay like that through season three.
Yeah, and obviously, obviously another word for the drivers. Obviously, this season, despite you knowing your new team, you are expected to obviously give everything to your own constructor now. And for the last 6 rounds, nothing to really slack off at all. But we'll move on from AlphaTauri anyway, and we come to Aston Martin. Now, this team has had really no luck, I think, in the last 6 rounds or the last season. You know, Bluefoot, I think he expected himself in Aston Martin to do really well this season, and he has missed a couple of races. He's had some stages of bad luck. But Aston Martin, they currently sit sixth in the constructors' standings, despite having really good results. Um, they've just seemed to come across a lot of issues this season. And Gaffer, what do you think that would be? What do you think is the problem with Aston Martin this season?
I think just a lack of consistency. They're in and out of the points every time, and they're not here most of the times as well.
Yeah,
Which can be a problem. But I feel like if they do decide to get that bit of consistency, obviously the summer is starting to end, so more people are going to settle in, and they're going to just at 9 o'clock they'll have not much to do because they'll have work in the morning or they'll have school in the morning, so they'll kind of just be sitting in, not much to do, and they should be able to race, which means that there'll be more drivers appearing and hopefully more points coming for the Aston Martin team.
yeah, absolutely. Well, the lineup for Aston Martin this season is Ryan Curran and Glenn Mack. So for season three, Ryan Curran and Glenn Mack in the Aston Martin. Do you think that's a good pairing?
I feel like they're a good pairing. I feel like they're both quick drivers, but I don't have high hopes for Aston Martin this season. One thing that is correct about those drivers is they lack a lot of consistency, especially Ryan Curran. We've seen him in qualifying, we've seen him at parts in the race. He has amazing pace, but just constant mistakes. And Glenn Mack obviously hasn't scored a point yet. I don't think he's even raced yet this season.
He raced in
I
Zandvoort.
think he raced in Zandvoort. He
Yeah,
didn't score a point. I feel like they will be in trouble, but both quick drivers, if they can get that consistency going and they can form a good pairing and score some points, some I can see a quality team there. But
yeah.
as of now, as of experience, I do not have high hopes for Aston Martin.
So do you think for season three that Aston Martin are going to be unfortunately in the same boat as they have been for the last 6 rounds of this season and last season as well?
Yeah, I feel if they don't get themselves sorted next season, they are going to be in a bottom two scrap with potentially another team.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think what there's 3 teams now in the bottom that could easily, if they pull off the good results, can jump Aston Martin in a couple of races. So Aston Martin really need to get the gears going and get up to and improving their consistency. So we move
Yeah,
on from
definitely.
Aston Martin then to Williams Racing, Season 1 Constructors Championship winners. They dominated Season 1, 250 points they won the championship with. This season has been a different season for Williams in terms of obviously the driver lineup and continuous changes as well. So Williams have been another team, just like AlphaTauri, who have had drivers in and out of the seat, and now their season 3 lineup is XD Harrison and Bluefoot. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, Bluefoot shown in season one and parts of season two. He also has rapid pace, and if he can get himself sorted for season three, he will be a fast driver. XD Harrison, he is a fast driver. Maybe not as fast as the majority of the grid, but he can get into the points when he needs to. But he lacks a bit of consistency. If he gets that sorted, I can see these two forming a good pairing, and again being in that battle for the top five. But we'll soon find out.
Yeah, actually, yeah, nothing other else to say there really. I think we saw Bluefoot storm onto the scene last season in Azerbaijan. He qualified P3 on the second row. He was also in P3 again, and like I think it was 5 rounds later in Mexico, and he just lost the car because of wet conditions. But I mean, Bluefoot is seriously underrated. He has a lot more pace to show. He's just had a lot of bad luck this to the start of this season, and hopefully we'll see him bounce back in the second half with 6 rounds to go. We'll take a look then. We'll move on from Williams to Alfa Romeo F1 team. Now they sit third in the constructors' standings of this season. Marley has done an absolutely incredible job for them to get them to where they are, considering of where they finished last season when they were in that top four battle. But their season 3 pairing is S Storm and Wicked Red. Now, my before I ask Gaffo your opinion, my initial opinion of this team is it's a very medium kind of paced team. It's hard to decide who is the number one driver here in terms of overall pace. Wicked Red has had a very inconsistent season. Storm, he pulled off a good result in the USA for himself last week. So I think we can't really have high hopes for Alfa Romeo next season, but we can have them somewhere in the middle. What would you think?
Um, Unfortunately, I think kind of the same as Aston Martin. Obviously, Storms has shown that he does have decent pace at times, but again, only 4 points to his name so far this season. And then Wicked Red has been way too inconsistent in his point scoring all season. And if he doesn't get that sorted, I can see them in a bottom two scrap with Aston Martin, as I mentioned when talking about Aston Martin. But
Yeah,
I feel Wicked Red has shown in qualifying and sometimes in the race that he can be a quick driver, and there is a podium there for him as he got in Miami. But if he doesn't get himself sorted and Storms doesn't start scoring more consistent points, I feel like Alfa Romeo will be a team that will struggle this year. If they do get themselves sorted, again, I can see them in that top five battle, but nothing more than that.
yeah, absolutely. I think honestly, I can't even see Alfa Romeo getting to top five next season. Just I think they need to really, obviously with pre-season they might be able to get up to speed and show some good results. But we've seen a lot of drivers in pre-season based off season two, and none of them have really performed up to what the pre-season standing results have shown. So I think Alfa Romeo will be sixth or seventh, fighting a bottom pack rather than fighting the top pack where they would want to be.
Definitely, yeah.
And we come to our final team then, Haas F1 team, the American team, their lineup, I gotta say, is a very, very strong lineup. S Junior the fourth and Rando for Haas. I mean, what a lineup. I mean, S Junior, since he's arrived on the scene in the URC, he has had, I want to say, two podiums. Is it two podiums he's had?
Yep.
Yeah, he's had, I think it's two podiums he's had.
He got a podium. No. He's
He
got
got
a
a podium
podium. He
in,
finished P2 in Jeddah, and then he did get a podium in US, but that was taken away
yeah,
from
it
him.
was taken
And
away
Riley
from
got
him. But either way, he clearly has that pace for a race win, and or even a pole position. He has it in him, and I think Haas are going to be another good team next season. They had a bad season in season one. They finished last. They didn't really perform well. Obviously, it was an inconsistent driver pairing for a lot of the races, and they were just caught out with that. But this season, obviously with McBott and Ryan, McBott has been carrying Haas. I think since Miami, I think if McBott wasn't performing well, Haas would be struggling. Haas would be in a serious difficulty right now, and because of McBott, I think Haas have just been really pulling off some incredible races. But
Yeah,
next
well,
season, yeah, go on, sorry.
yeah. Mel McBott is kind of doing what Banter King is doing at the moment in Haas. He is kind of pulling them along, and well, fair play to him. He's pulling them along right into second in the constructors. But I feel like for next season, SGR and Rando are going to be a sensational team.
Yeah, I think so too.
I feel like themselves, Mercedes and Red Bull, and then possibly even McLaren are going to be the four that will battle for that win. And my personal opinion, I think Haas will top it. But we'll soon find out. SJR, I think, will get a win towards the end of the season, the same as Ryan. And then Rando has also shown that he can have incredible paces and incredible drives, as shown in the US. But we'll soon find that out towards the end of the season and into next season.
Absolutely. And do you think it's too late to make any predictions for next season, or too early? Do you think?
Maybe it is too early. We still don't know if McBott is going to race. Obviously, like last season, we don't know if he's going to stick to it. I'm guessing he will, because he done that last season, and he does have a lot more competitive drivers this season than he did last season. Obviously, Rayan, the Banter King, has stepped up this year, and SJR has shown that he has an incredible pace. So it's almost a four-way battle for wins at the moment, although it's only FaZe and Banter King battling for world drivers. Four people are battling for the podium, so we'll soon find out. I think SJR and Rando are going to be an incredible pairing, and I personally think that they'll top it, even if it is very early days.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming in from Pat Kenny there says, have the teams been said yet? Yes, I'm going to quickly run through them again. So Mercedes, obviously they have Rayan and Shano. Red Bull is FaZe McBott and it's Wolves. Ferrari is Ronosaurus and Gabri XF1. McLaren is Banter King and Pat Kenny. Alpine is Tamaz and OP Gamer. AlphaTauri is F1 Marley and Griffin 067. Aston Martin is Ryan Curran and Glenn Mack. Williams is XD Harrison and Bluefoot. Alfa Romeo is Storm and Wicked Red. And then finally Haas is SJR the fourth and Rando. So those are your teams for the season.
McBott is ringing me here. He said he wants to join. Will we let him join at the end?
Yeah,
or
I'll invite him in for the calendar, because obviously there's some tracks I want to get his opinion on.
Okay.
Do you want to add him to the party, so?
I'll add him there now. So he's been added to the party, so we'll just wait for him to join.
Cool. So guys, we have coming into the party is the Season 1 World Champion, Williams World Champion, FaZe McBott. FaZe McBott, how's it going?
Guess who's back? Back here again.
Ringing me to get into the party.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, he done the same to me.
How's it going?
Hello.
How's it going, sirs?
So, FaZe, obviously you are the Season 1 champion, so we thought we'd get you in here. Special visitor.
Oh, of course, yeah.
What do you think, Red Bull? Are you happy with your seat, or...?
No.
No? Straight
What?
no.
No.
You're not happy.
No.
Okay, well, suck it up,
And
I
why is
guess.
that?
The car sounds shite and the livery's ugly.
Okay,
Okay.
And the team owner is Christian Horner, so fuck him. Sorry, I mean, I don't like him.
All right, cool.
okay,
Thanks very
that's
much for
lovely.
that.
No problem.
So, for round one, we head to Australia. That's our first track for season 3. And obviously we head there in, I think it's about 5 or 4 rounds for this season, but next season it's round 1. So, Gaffer, what do you think? Australia?
Yeah, I think Australia, as shown in real life, and in other multiple league races, it's a great opening track to have. Obviously, new it's been revamped, so more opportunities for overtaking, and I think it will be an interesting opener. It's a very easy track. It's a good way for drivers to ease into the new season. And we'll soon find out who's quickest.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Australia, obviously, we have it on this season and have it down for next season as well. So I'm really excited to see how the racing turns out there. And McBot, obviously, what's your championship view on Australia?
It's a good opening track, I suppose. Like, it can be tricky, and it's good to get used to the car and to get back racing. It's a good track for racing, so hopefully the opener will be good and not too much crashes. But we'll see, I suppose.
Absolutely. Now, round 2, a lot of people will hate me for round 2. We're yet to have it on the calendar. It's
Oh,
because people
fuck.
don't like it. Round 2 is Canada.
Ah!
Yeah,
Sorry.
there, that's what I mean. People don't like it. So, Gaffo, your first initial thoughts, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
Yeah, I think it's heavily overhated. I
Uh,
feel like there's multiple opportunities for overtaking, and it's a very interesting track. Possibly a very bland one, and it isn't too difficult, but there is a lot of places where drivers can make mistake. Obviously, the Wall of Champions is the one. Maybe we could see FaZe McBot there, but yeah, it's a good it's a good second track. Obviously, it gives a bit more of a challenge than Albert Park, and
Yeah,
it will be a huge challenge for the drivers, especially if say they had a poor round one. They'll want to push hard and get a good round two, and that could cause possibly mistakes, and then possibly you'll end up in a wall. So, well, we'll soon find out when we get to there.
absolutely. FaZe McBot, what's obviously you let out a Charles Leclerc scream there, but what's you just don't like Canada? I'm assuming after that.
I like the track for racing. I just never really found grips with it, to be honest. Like, I'm never quick around there compared to other fellas, but I could show some good racing. But yeah, it's just a fairly tricky track to get used to, and I don't really like it. So
Okay, fair enough. Thanks very much. Round 3 then is where is it? Oh God, I'm going the wrong way. Netherlands. The Dutch Grand Prix shows up again. Round 3 though, not round 4. We head to Circuit Zandvoort. Gaffo, your opinion?
Well, I think this is a very controversial track to throw in again after season two. I feel like it has been added probably due to popular demand. We've a few, well, I think we've one Dutch driver, or is it two?
One. I think it's one.
Yeah, we've one Dutch driver. So they'll want to impress, or he'll want to impress in that circuit. But after season two, it's going to be a very very tricky one, as shown.
Yeah,
Hopefully, people can adapt to the game a bit better, and it works better. So well, we'll soon find out when we get to it if it does improve. It can be a great track on the game, very hard one to master.
absolutely.
And as shown before, FaZe has shown us that you can spin out, but you can make up more places after that.
Yeah. FaZe, obviously we interviewed you after your race back a couple of weeks ago there. How is it to race on? How is the track? How does it feel when you're racing against other cars? Is it difficult or is it like what do you have to manage?
it is a difficult track, to be honest. That's why it was probably the worst track for racing. Last year we had a lot of safety cars, but it is difficult to drive. You can lose the car in I think any place on the track. So, but when you can pin it down properly, you can show the pace against other people. Like I felt like I had enough pace to show against everyone else, and
Yeah,
that's why I was able to come back from last place. I think it was last year.
yeah,
But
it was.
yeah, our wise man called Rayan once said it's a good track, so we'll listen to him.
I mean, that brings us to
NASCAR.
round four.
That's what the track is. So round
So,
four.
round four. Well, we came here last season. We raced in the night, and
Oh!
where McBosh lit up the streets of Monte Carlo. We head to
Yes!
Won by a
Monaco
lap.
for round
Da
four.
da 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 da. Come on,
The
Monaco! Fucking
circuit de
love
Monte
Monaco.
Carlo for round four.
My question is, are we racing in it in Minecraft or are we racing in it in F1?
We're racing in it in F1. Have to be. Obviously, Monaco last season, from me commenting on it, it was the most boring race I've ever seen because of obviously the gap from everyone was at least a minute between each other. It was quite a hectic race in terms of people, just being so spread out, and it was like so long. But hopefully, when it's there now next season, we'll hopefully see that there'll be better racing, possibly a different winner. There's the laugh. Gaffa, what do you think about Monaco?
I think the driving standards has definitely improved since then, so I expect to see a better race than Monaco from season one. From season one, it wasn't a track that was all too bad in the end. I think there wasn't actually as much crashes as I thought there would be, and generally the people that did stay in the race didn't have any crashes at all. I think that was my first ever race where I never got damage in Monaco, and obviously FaZe never does. I think FaZe has won it before it even started.
Yeah, I
Um,
think.
we'll,
I
we'll,
think.
we'll, we'll,
Yeah.
s- we'll soon find out. The McBot Grand Prix is what we can rename it to, but it'll be the biggest challenge on the whole calendar, as it always is for the drivers, and I expect to see at least some interesting battles in the midfield. Although I think McBot will do as he done in season one.
Yeah, I think we can definitely put our money on that. That McBot will win Monaco
Yeah,
next
lads, gonna
season. I
jinx
think.
me.
I think any driver will win it. I think any driver knows that McBot will win Monaco next season whenever it's put on a calendar.
Lads, I'm gonna get jinxed now. Come on.
Yeah, good.
I think the only person I think you'll ever have trouble in Monaco with is, well, although you might not think so, I think Lucas Paul in my league would give you.
Yeah, he's
I think you'd still win, but it won't be by a lap because this fella's also very quick around Monaco.
Okay, okay,
But
lads, we're gonna move
we'll
on.
see.
If that's okay.
Yep.
We're going to move on to round 5. So round 5 is the same track as we had this season. Saudi Arabia. Jeddah again, round 5. Obviously it was a
Ryan
great
Connery.
Jeddah was a great race for me personally. Commentating it, it was really good fun. The race was just incredible. It came down to the last lap with McBot and SJR chasing him down on the last lap. But obviously McBot held them off. But it's a great track for racing. It definitely proved that this season. Gaffa, what do you think for round 5, Jeddah?
I think Jeddah was the best race so far this season. It was personally for me watching it at home. It was a great race. I think there was one incident of trouble, but there almost always is in league racing, that there will always be a bit of trouble. But I think Jeddah was a fantastic race, especially at the end when Rayan came onto softs and had to do a bit of chasing down. SJR and McBot had that very smooth and clean last lap battle, which eventually I think McBot won by less than a tenth.
Exactly.
Incredible race, and I expect the same for season 3.
And McBot, how do you find Jeddah?
Well, we showed this season it's good for racing, and to be honest, I really enjoyed it last season. I actually got to race some fella as well for those last few laps. I thought it was very good, but yeah, a tricky track. Obviously, you can pin it anywhere, like as we've seen a couple
Absolutely.
of fellas do last race. But Yeah, no, it's a good track. It's a new track as well. Well, new to the game, I suppose, or to
Yeah,
the calendar. But yeah, good track for racing. Might be a bit. It's a harder. I think it's harder this year with the new cars, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
absolutely. Right, so we move from round 5 then. So we come
Yeah.
back to a track that we saw in season 1. Now this track, it didn't get the race that we wanted. Because F1 decided to fuck up and screw itself. For
Mm.
round 6, before the season break, we head to Belgium. For the Belgian Grand Prix, we head back to Spa. Now, Gaffo, you know, I don't have to even ask your opinion for this. The amount of glitched safety cars we had last season with Belgium was
And Chappie lad.
ridiculous. It was hectic. Belgium, we didn't get the race that we wanted for the Belgian Grand Prix, so I have decided to put it in again this season because it has to be. Like, who doesn't want to go see someone go side by side up Eau Rouge?
Mm.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Obviously, I think I caused that safety car. Well, I didn't cause it. I was put in a wall by Chappie lad.
Wouldn't be like you.
Um, Chappie lad put me in a wall, so you can blame him. I think Belgium again is an incredible track. Obviously been a staple in the F1 calendar for many years. And I think it should be the same in this in URC. We didn't get to see the race we wanted because of it, but those last, I think, 5 or 6 laps that we did have of actual racing was fairly good. I think McBaugh had a quali ban, so he was starting right from the back and made his way all the way up into the podium again, I'm pretty sure. I think it's going to be a good race, and I expect a lot of drama in it. So
yeah, absolutely. Right, so after the season break, we go to Mexico. So obviously we don't know what tracks will have sprint races yet. That'll be decided off stream. But round 7 is Mexico. We were supposed to race this season. I took it off and replaced it with Brazil. So we actually are going to race Mexico next season for round 7 after the season break. Your thoughts on that, Gaffo? Mexico?
ooh, I don't know. It's going to be a very tricky track. Obviously, for track limits, that sector 2 is horrible.
Yeah,
I don't have great experience with Mexico, and but as it showed last year, it was the first wet race we had, and it was a very decent race.
yeah,
Um, Towards the end, a lot of drama. Obviously, it was the finale of season 1, and I think it's a good track to ease back in after the season break. Um, I don't know who would be strong at that track. I don't know who would win it, but it's definitely going to be an interesting one, which we hope to see some good racing in.
yeah, exactly. FaZe, what do you think of Mexico?
It's a nice track. Like I think you'd find it hard to crash out on it, except that sector 2 is the only really hard place on that track, in my opinion. But like
Yeah,
last race was a good race. I think it was Michelangelo that got the win. But it definitely showed a good race last season, and with the rain, even though it was raining, we actually didn't have too much DNF, so it was a
exactly.
positive
Yeah,
race for the league. And no,
We
I'd say
don't
it'll be a good
talk
one.
about that.
But to be honest, I'm also looking forward to Belgium because if we get a wet race in Belgium, that'll be something different.
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
that'll be very tough.
So for round 8, we go all the way back, not to Monza, but we go to Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for round 8. Interesting round 8, would you say, Gaffo?
Yeah, I think that's going to be probably one of the best races of the season. For on season 1, but I think it was one of the early races in season 1, and people just weren't really used to racing with each other. Then I feel like if we get the drivers in Imola, it's a fast track. It's a really good track, and I feel like we won't see we'll see little to no safety cars hopefully around there. Possibly, I would consider that as one of the sprint rounds. It's a good track for a sprint race, and we'll have to wait and see on what what the sprint races are, but that would be my number one for a sprint race. Um, I think it's a great track for racing, and a very challenging track in certain parts as well, especially that chicane in sector 3. People have a lot of trouble in real life and on the game in there, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, FaZe, how did you find Imola last season? Obviously, the second race into the season. What did you think of it as an overall track?
The track, I think it's brilliant. I've definitely had some sort of strong spot there since I came into the game on 2021. But no, I enjoy the track. It's definitely good for racing as well.
Yeah,
Tricky with the overtakes, really. There's only one or two corners you can make a clean overtake on it. But I think it'll definitely show a good race. It's a good racing track, so.
absolutely, absolutely. I think it'll be a great race because obviously we can have the authentic sprint race with Imola, and I think and a sprint race in Imola. I mean, what better could you ask for round 8 of the season? And obviously, if the title is really close, then I think Imola would be the best place for that title to be fought for. Round 9. Now, before I show you this track, before I get into this track, last season this track had the most depressing race ever.
Oh, Jesus, leave me alone.
This track
You
almost saw the end of the URC.
almost saw the end of McBall.
It gave McBot Sebastian Vettel 2018 or 2017 vibes. We saw a whole different
Gave me
McBot
great
that
vibes.
race. We saw Red Bulls acting like maniacs. We saw Haas cars flying across the castle section. We
We saw
head
Graffel actually driving.
we head to Azerbaijan for round 9 of season 3. Immediate flashbacks, Gaffo.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed that track in season 1, despite everyone else didn't.
Yeah. You
I
managed to
think it is
benefit
a,
in some way the best
I
way.
think I think it is a great track. Maybe not in this game, but generally it is a good track, and it is supposed to cause drama as shown in real life. Um, we'll soon find out. Obviously, the driver lineup again is so much cleaner than what it was in season 1. Season 1 shouldn't even be compared to what it is at the moment right now. So,
Yeah.
kind of, it is pretty much a new track to URC because we've very little season 1 drivers actually racing anymore. I think Baku will be a redemption in Baku. Obviously, we do want to see drama. We do want to see hopefully some cars flying into the castle section because that's what you get. Hopefully, just not too many.
Yeah,
And it will be
exactly.
it'll be a great track for finishing out the season.
Well, McBot, I know you'd hopefully like to be missing Azerbaijan after last season because it was just the most carnage race for you. Everything went well for you in the sprint race. You qualified on pole. I think you were leading the majority of the race up until the whole Red Bull scandal. How do you feel going back there now in season 3? Is there any trauma?
No comment.
No comment. Okay, we'll move on forward.
No comment on that race.
We don't want to upset him anymore. But that is round 9, folks. So we go to round 10. Now round 10, we will see this season, and it's right after Azerbaijan, obviously. Hungary.
Ooh.
So Hungary right after Azerbaijan. Oh, that could boil people's bubbles. All right, that could really set off people. Round 10, Hungary, Gaffo. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Hungary's a great track. Obviously, I've heard some backlash that it's not many people's favorite tracks, but I think on
Yeah.
this new game it is a good track. Maybe not for racing, but just generally, the track is very smooth to drive. And if obviously 10 rounds into the season, you'd see drivers starting to settle in, drivers hopefully starting to take form, and going into round 10, I can see I think we'll be getting close to Christmas time around now, and we'll be seeing some hopefully some good drives.
Yeah, and FaZe, obviously your opinion on Hungary.
I'd say it'll be a crucial race definitely for the season because it's a tricky track, and if you are in a fight or whatever for a midfield, whatever championship, I think it'll be
Yeah,
a race you have to get right because it's just hit or miss really. You
I
can
think a
go off
mistake in
there, you can have a
Hungary.
brilliant.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I
Yeah,
think a mistake in Hungary. If you're fighting for a title, it could be really crucial to come away with a DNF there.
yeah, definitely. Like, I think,
Absolutely.
to be honest, the only overtaking place in it is turn one. Any other place is just risking your race.
Yeah,
Like, it's such a
absolutely.
tricky track.
And
So, to be
it
honest, it wouldn't be my favourite.
exactly, and it could be a title decider. I think even this season, if we just come back to season two, the present, the reality as it is, Hungary this season I think could be that title decider race where anything could be any move, any drive could be fatal.
Mm.
If any of the title charges in either the Mercedes or the Haas constructors or drivers, it could be fatal to make a mistake there. So hopefully all four drivers will know that everything now that they're fighting for is bigger than just themselves going into Hungary, I think. Right, we'll move on to round 11. Now, round 11 and round 12 are two very notorious tracks across the F1 calendar. Round 11, we head to Abu Dhabi for round 11. Obviously, Abu Dhabi is our season finale. This season, it's now our round 11 for season 3. And obviously, Yas Marina has had a revamp, so it's been redone. And it's quicker. It's quicker by a lot, wouldn't you say? Isn't it, Gaffel?
Yeah, that's going to be a good track. Obviously, a finale of the season in real life. It is a much better track as it previously was. I think it's the end. It's the finale for this season
Yeah,
as well. Um, we'll soon find out this season on what it's going to be like, but it should be a very fast circuit. One that will challenge the drivers, especially in that final sector where it's so easy to lose the car on those final few corners where Latifi did in real life. Um, I think it's definitely a good way to almost end the season. Obviously, we've another track after that as the finale, but I feel like it would be maybe, I don't know yet, but again, I think this would be a good time to have a sprint round. Obviously, it's a long track. There's chances for overtaking, so a sprint race wouldn't be the end of the world there.
yeah.
And I think we're going to see some good racing, and it's going to be real down to how your setup is prepared for it. Are you going to go for a qualifying setup that may help you through the fast corners, or are you going to go for a straight line speed setup that are going to help you down those two massive straights, one after the other?
Absolutely. And obviously, if we come to this season again, in the title, the title is really what is exciting me a lot in these last 6 rounds. It's so close. It's never really been this close. I think season one, McBot, you dominated a lot in season one. The titles were, it was decided for Williams pretty much, and I was confident it was going to you in season one. This season, obviously, I mean Abu Dhabi. This season, could we see a title fight last to the last round?
100%. I think Banter King and McBot are trading wins almost every week at the moment, and if they continue it, of course we're going to see a battle into Abu Dhabi, possibly the same as real life of last season, where almost it's winner takes all.
Yeah,
I have my doubts on who will win it, but I think it's going to be a great end to the season and a good way to get to the end of season 3 as well.
yeah, because I think obviously people would like to see the URC fans would like to see McBot retain his title, because obviously he is a race down. So I think to retain his title this season would be just double the amount of impressions. It would be very impressive to do that, despite being a race down on Banter King. But I think also people want to see a different winner. Someone, Banter King, he was a runner-up last season, and he went away from it for a bit during the season breaks, and then coming into this season, he was like, right, I'm making it my goal this season to win. I do not want McBot catching me. I'm going to bring everything to him. and I think that's what's keeping Banterkim going. You know, we saw his outright pace in the USA last season. I think he's going to bring it again for the second half, and we could see a serious title fight on our hands here. McBot, what do you think of Abu Dhabi for round 11 next season?
Just going back to this season as well, it would be my dream for it to go down to the last season because I actually, like I didn't want to race this season because I felt like it'd be not too easy, but I didn't want to run away with it as well like I did last season because it was just not really fun. So I'd be
Yeah,
delighted if it came down to the last race. Like even if I lost it, I think it'd just be brilliant for the league. But it actually went from my least favorite track to one of my favorites this year when they revamped it. I think last year it was really tricky with
yeah,
just the turns and the bouncy curbs
I
and
think some of
everything.
the
But
some of the curbs last year
yeah, it was
were just
unbelievable.
really annoying. I think they've smoothed them up this year, and especially that final sector. Although it's
Mm.
easy to lose it on the power, it's an incredible track when you get it right. Like even when you got it right last game, it still wasn't very satisfying. It was kind of just wrestled the car through the final few corners to get a lap in. But I think this season it will be a lot smoother and a lot better, and the same will be said for next season.
Yeah,
absolutely,
brilliant fast pace
absolutely.
and track. It's a very quick track. It'll be brilliant, I think, for a race.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's it's going to be quite the incredible race. I think the last race before the title decider, before the season finale, and Abu Dhabi always has its great racing, and now with its new layout, it will hopefully show that, especially this season and hopefully into next season as well. But folks, for the last track of season three, um, we head to Sao Paulo.
Mm.
So the Brazilian Grand Prix will act as the season three finale. So obviously we were supposed to go there last season, we didn't. It's put in this season as round 11, obviously, but Brazil is our finale, Gaffo. What do you think?
Yeah, this is the finale. This should always, I think, be the finale of an F1 race or of an F1 league. It's a very smooth track, and there's always so much that can happen. Obviously, there's again two very long straights, one after the other, so it does allow a lot of overtakes. So if you do make a mistake earlier in the Grand Prix, you can make it up. Obviously, the tricky sector two section will cause people some trouble, but generally, I think Sao Paulo is going to be an amazing finale, and
Yeah,
for the driver lineups, I can see not only a constructor battle in the final race, but also possibly a four-way driver fight in the final race, just as there has been many times in Brazil.
I'm definitely picturing it right now in a constructor battle. I think I can see Rayan and the Mercedes and McBot and the Red Bull going at it in Brazil next season. I really can. I can definitely see that happening in Brazil. It would just be the perfect place because that's what I've wanted to see. I've wanted to see McBot dominate in a Red Bull, because he just has that skill to do it. And Ryan and the Mercedes, I think he has 6 rounds this season to really show off his true pace, and then he has to carry that into next season, which I think he can do absolutely. With Alpine and obviously then going to be with Mercedes, I think he can do that going into the next season, and we're going to have a serious constructor battle on us next season, and that's what's just going to keep the drivers excited for the last 6 rounds. But obviously, not they should what right now they should be keeping 100% focus on the last 6 rounds. It's crucial, especially Mercedes and Haas. They're both missing their drivers in Austria. It's a sprint race format. So much points are up for grabs. If you don't come away with points and you're a Haas or a Mercedes driver, you're just screwed, in my opinion. Going into Japan the week after.
McBot, do you have thoughts on Brazil as the finale?
Ah, yeah, it's brilliant track. It just, I don't know, a championship final in Brazil is just giving you 2010, early 2010 vibes. Like, it's just brilliant. I think it'll be a it's very aggressive. You have to be aggressive on that track, and I think it'll show good racing, and hopefully, yeah, good racing all around, and hopefully goes into the last race, the championship battle. But I think, yeah, a final in Brazil would be brilliant. And we have new drivers like F Junior that could be joining the battle with
Yeah,
Banter
Obviously,
King
the Banter King can remain the same as he did, and I
and
think,
Rayan.
yeah, Rayan obviously has shown himself how quick he is. Look at it again. It's kind of probably as all I can see winning a championship is those four, but I think the constructors will definitely be really important there as well, because obviously those four drivers are on four different teams, and those four teams are very evened out. So it's going to be very close in the constructors going to the end as well.
yeah, absolutely. I think we're gonna have, four. I think I can really see four drivers for that drivers' championship next season. I really think it can be possible that we can have four drivers fighting for a title, and then four or so, or maybe three or four constructors even going for a constructors championship. I think this is exactly what I've wanted for this league since it started. I've wanted to see such close racing between drivers, and in the USA last week, I saw that and I was really happy to see it until some twat came in and thought he could just ruin it. But yeah, exactly. Thank you for clearing that up. But
Hold on, what? I didn't hear that.
do you want to say?
Quinn, you stupid bastard.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
there it is. There it
Yeah.
is. But
I was
guys, let
just a
us
bit
know in the
confused.
comments what you think of that calendar. Obviously the start of it is a bit icky, and then there's obviously Baku's in there as well. So some drivers don't like that, but Monaco's back. Monaco is back in the calendar. A lot of tracks, a lot of familiar tracks from this season have made a return. Australia, Jeddah, um, Hungary's in there, Netherlands in there. So a couple of familiar tracks that you will see um, this season. So do let me know what you think. Uh, as Wolf says to McBoss that he will be the best second driver there is.
Second driver. Hold
Second
on.
driver.
I'm the
He's
second
your
driver.
teammate.
No, he's your teammate. So he's saying that he
He
will
said
be the
he'll
best
be the best
second
second
driver.
driver.
I'm joking with him. Yeah, hopefully we can have a good relationship. I feel like Wolves showed himself in getting that pole in Silverstone at his home race. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably be talking to him anyway before the first race, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have a good pairing there. I think, Wolves can learn from you in a sort of way that, you can help him out with setups, try and maybe get him quicker and just work on his racecraft with him, because it has been definitely an issue for him in terms of luck in the last couple of rounds. He's definitely looked to be struggled, and I think his confidence in himself has come down from his results. So, and I've seen that. He's said it to me a lot of times, like, he's blaming himself for a lot of his mistakes, and it's a negative mindset that he has, and it's not good for a driver to have that. So hopefully next season, you'll be able to help him with that. That there's a bigger picture to it than just blaming yourself. Um, Last thing, I think, guys, how do we look back on the last 6 rounds of the season of this season? What do we think? How has it gone?
Yeah, Gaffo, if you want to go there.
Yeah, I think obviously I had a bad start in Bahrain. It was a brand new game, so we didn't know much of the bugs or anything that happened with, and the formation lap was obviously one of them. I've
Yeah,
actually found out a way myself on how to stop it, the formation lap bug, which we can do in Austria. Obviously Miami was a great race, a great ending. Obviously McBot with the end. Silverstone, probably the best race of the season. Netherlands kind of dropped us back a bit with some poor driving, but then the last two rounds, Jeddah and Austin, were both absolutely amazing, despite of some incidents at the moment that happened
yeah,
during the races. But I think this season's first six has been much better than last season's first six,
I
and
have to agree with you there.
I do think the same for the final six.
Yeah, I'm really because I think the last six, and McBot will come to you as well just about the first 6 rounds, but I think the last 6 rounds, I mean the tracks that are there are just incredible tracks, incredible tracks. and hopefully the drivers will see that these tracks are amazing to race on, and will hopefully give the track the racing that it deserves, and not be idiots and screw themselves. Hopefully we'll see that in Austria now in less than a week's time. Just how good the racing will be on a track as good as Austria, in my opinion. Phase
Especially that it's
obviously,
a sprint round as well. So
yeah, exactly. Sprint round, so extra points to up for grabs. I mean, why wouldn't you want to perform well? McBot, how have you found how have you found the first six races for yourself as well overall even?
I think just overall, compared to last season, safety car wise and everything, the driving has been 10 times better. Like, I've found myself struggling in the midfield when last season I really wasn't. Like, the drivers have upped the pace so much. We have, like, newer people. Griffin has got so much more pace this season. We've just loads of people that have upped the pace a lot, so there is a bit of more of a battle up the top. But even when I do drop down to the bottom, I'm struggling to get back up because there's good racing now compared to last season when I could just breeze past them. So I suppose it's good to see faster drivers developing in the league, and hopefully for the next 6 rounds as well it'll be the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
what I what I really hope to see in the last 6 rounds, because I'm looking at the standings here myself. There hasn't really been a shock winner yet, and I want to see a shock winner. I want to see someone who has never won a race before to win it. Possibly Griffin, possibly almost anyone on the grid other than the people that have already won a race. If they do win a race, it's going to be great to see. I think that's what I want to see, and I could see it in a circuit maybe like Japan or maybe Hungary. It's difficult to overtake in both of those tracks. If a mistake can happen and someone gets in front, it's not very easy, but it's easier than other tracks that you can defend that lead maybe all the way until the checkered flag and bring home hopefully an amazing victory.
Yeah, definitely. I think we need to see a shock winner. I think if Griffin wins, I'll be in tears. I think I've literally been talking about him since last season, since
We all
round
want a
one.
Griffin win.
We all want a Griffin win. That's what we want.
Even in
And
LOI.
Poor
exactly,
fella.
yeah. Like we just, if he gets a win in this league, he's not losing it. That's that's
Mm.
that's 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 all I'm saying right now. But like, oh, it'd be great. I think to see him do that, and obviously, I think there obviously is wins in there for SJR and Rayan still up for grabs. I think they can easily pull off a race win in the next 2 rounds or so. They can do it, but they do have competition. They have FaZe and Banter King breathing down their necks for the competition, saying we're leading this championship. We're fighting for it just as much as you are. You know?
Yeah, I think that's what's brilliant about this season. Like, all it takes is for whoever, me or Banter, to just spin it once and into the wall. Then we have people like Griffin, S Junior, Rayan coming straight up to get the podium, and Marley as well. He can
Yeah,
pull out shock performances on different tracks. But as you said, in Japan, like, if I lose it, I think I can find it very easy to lose it on those S's. I think definitely a shock winner can happen in Japan.
yeah,
So we'll see what happens, of course. But yeah, brilliant to see if someone like Griffin or Rayan pops up with a win out of nowhere.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's it. That's for the teams and that's for the calendar. So if you have missed this stream, I'll actually just do a quick run through again of the calendar for you guys in case you have missed it. So round one, we have Australia. Round two is Canada. Round three is Netherlands. Round four is Monaco. Round five is Saudi Arabia, or if you want to just call it Jeddah, you can. Round six is Belgium. Then we have a season break, so just a week break as we have this week. Round seven is Mexico. Round eight is San Marino or Imola. Round 9 is Azerbaijan, round 10 is Hungary, round 11 is Abu Dhabi, and then round 12, the season finale of season 3, will be held in Brazil. So, and if you also have missed the teams, just watch back the stream. It's there, it's on YouTube. Um,
But Shamrock, overall, what do you think of the calendar? Just overall.
so, my
He made it,
overall
so
thought
obviously
of the calendar,
he
I
likes
think
it.
I very much like it. I think it's very competitive. I think the tracks on there are very good. It's great that I was able to get Belgium on it again, and I'm looking forward to Canada. And I haven't had a league race or to commentate on Canada before, so Canada should be good fun. Um, Same. I'm not looking forward to go back to Baku because I'll have a counselling
Heart
therapy
attack.
booked by then. But in terms of the rest of the calendar, yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great calendar for the league, and I hope.
Yeah, I can't wait for Belgium, to be honest. Now, that is definitely the best one you could have added. We missed out on a good race in Belgium last season,
Yeah,
but
we did.
it can definitely show some brilliant racing.
But hopefully the drivers next season will carry on the same momentum that they have shown this season. Because honestly, every 20 drivers in this league now that we have right now are just really respectable. They have really good pace. They're really taking this league seriously, and that means a lot to me. Um, as an owner of a very small league at the moment, but we hopefully will grow. We're always growing, you know. So um, I love football. Lads, thanks very much for tuning in. Gaffo, thank you for being with me here today with the teams and the calendar. FaZe, the world champion, thank you as well. Taking
Thank you
time out of
very
your
much for
schedule
bringing me in.
to join us.
I'm sorry, can I
And
just say one more thing about the calendar?
yeah,
Monaco.
great. Guys, we will see
Monaco,
you
indeed.
in I think it's 6 days time, is it? 5 days time? 5 days time
5.
for Austria. Round 7. It's a sprint race. But it's come Monday, it's race week again. So we'll see you all very soon. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out, guys.
Peace.